Hey everyone, today I have my good friend Dan with me.
Hi.
Dan is a...
Man.
Correct.
And it rhymes and is also true.
And today we're talking about men.
Because we never get enough attention. And I feel like it's really important that... When is International Man's Day?
19th of November, I think.
Oh, there actually is one.
Yep. We're actually going to talk seriously about men and masculinity.
Okay.
Yeah?
Because there's no one more masculine that Hannah knows than me.
That's why I brought
Traditionally
you here.
masculine.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to talk about, I think.
Oh, great, okay.
So first of all, I have a theory / hypothesis about men. And I want your reaction to it.
Bring it.
If you just go way back in time, over hundreds, thousands of years, whatever, men and women have strict roles in society. Late 19th into the 20th century and the 60s and 70s, women started being actually, no, we don't want this to be our role in society, and kind of feminism happened. The scope of what it meant to be a woman and the things that women could do broadened. Okay. And there were lots of different ways that you could be a woman. You could work and have a family. So, if femininity changes and feminineness changes, surely then masculinity has to change too, because they're related. Okay. But we haven't seen that happen. So women now have all of these support groups, and there's places where women can talk about things. There's all of these events and everything going on, all of this support for women, which is necessary, still necessary. But what about the men? And I'm asking this question genuinely. So, men have been kind of, left behind. And what it means to be a man hasn't been discussed as much as what it means to be a woman. What do you think to that?
God, what a hard question to ask on a Thursday morning.
I'm sorry.
I feel like, for guys, there's no place that you can go and express your fears or your worries. You kind of are subconsciously encouraged to bottle things up.
Because I feel like as a woman, there are so many places that I can go, online, but also in real life, if I feel like I need the support of other women and I just need to talk through some issues that are specifically related to being a woman.
I don't think guys think about that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that in terms of guys don't care about their feelings. I just think guys don't think, I've got these problems, perhaps I should go and talk to someone about them.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of bottle them up and that affects their behaviour.
The fact that gets thrown around a lot is that men are far more likely to die from suicide than women.
Yeah, that's not... So this is where I think people who are not quite sure how they feel about feminism, they see it and then they think, oh, there's also these stats and these things that happen to men that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
And they don't get that feminism is about bringing us all to a point where we can talk about those things. So surrounding myself with people who encourage me to share my feelings.
Do you cry? And you open about when you cry?
I cry once or twice a year.
Max. Oh, really? So you're not a crier? Okay.
Yeah, except if I'm watching a movie. I'll cry all the time in a movie. When I cry, I will cry about everything.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That I've been bottling up. And I will do it by myself. I had my 2016 cry a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. It was very Emma Thompson in Love Actually.
Did you schedule it in? Or
no, it just happened. I was right. Especially when the school I went to was so much rugby, sport, men, we are men.
Yeah.
You do drama, no support.
Okay.
We're not going to teach you how to cook because literally the headmaster thought that was a subject not befitting boys.
When all of the most famous chefs in the world are men.
Isn't it ridiculous? Mm-hmm. Isn't it ridiculous? A basic life skill, and they're not going to teach you because they think that's not traditionally masculine.
Yeah.
It makes your mind melt a bit. And when I look back, I'm like, no wonder all of the boys who I sort of grew up with have such complexes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're just given them.
So slightly more hard-hitting, maybe different question. How do you feel...
I'm nervous.
Okay, I just want to know these things.
Cool.
But obviously Dan does not speak for all
I don't.
men.
And this is my thing. I'm sitting here thinking I'm quite a liberal... floaty
that is
man.
true.
I wonder what
floaty man.
What a kind of a more traditional alpha male would.
So how would you feel if you got a girl pregnant? How do you feel about maybe not having any say in whether you become a father or not?
I had the say when I put it in her.
Yeah. So do you feel like every time you have sex with someone you're like, I'm risking becoming a dad?
It's the thing that you think about. I feel like ultimately you're right. It is the woman's decision.
Do you 100% feel that?
100%.
Okay. How would you feel though if you became a father kind of without having any say in it? So my opinion is that if you do become pregnant, you it should be a joint decision, and you should talk about what you're going to do, but ultimately the woman has veto. Like,
I think that's a really good way of putting it.
She can put her foot down and go, no.
So I would express my concerns to the woman.
Yeah.
But I would at the same time be like, ultimately, whatever you decide, I will support you.
Would you cut and run?
What's that?
Would you just be like, not have anything to do with the child?
No.
Okay. What would you do if you wanted it and she decided to get rid?
Accept that and move on with my life.
Okay, so here's something that I've observed in society, just from having friends. It's a lot more accepted if a straight woman wants to experiment sexually with another woman.
I think
like, she can do that and society will still accept her as straight. But then I think if a straight man wants to fool around with another man, but he's like, oh, I'm still straight, I was just experimenting, or it was like, you know, just curious kind of thing, I think society would very much be like, no, you're gay now.
This is such a complicated question to unpack, because that's like goes into like beliefs about female sexuality and male sexuality throughout time. Like, I messed around with a guy when I was at school.
Okay.
And that was where I figured out that actually
You're not into it.
I'm not into that.
I'm the same. I've like messed around with women and I'm like, that was fun, but I'm pretty sure I'm straight. What made you do that? Was it like curiosity, or like were you just a bit drunk? Yeah, same.
So I know a guy actually who was in a relationship with a woman for 7 years.
Right.
And then they broke up, and a couple of years later he's now very, very happy with a man. And he'd never considered himself gay or even bisexual. Yeah. He just met a person and was like, oh, I'm so attracted to you. And now they're really happy together. We're not coming to conclusions on these answers.
No. Yeah.
But I feel
conclusions. I think these kind of things are just things that we should talk about, especially men should talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some more things that are slightly more serious.
Bring it.
Shall I list them and then you can like pick
maybe
one that you want to talk about?
Okay.
Paternity rights and child custody. The fact that men make up most of the armed forces. Men are more likely to get murdered. Men are more likely to be homeless. Male abuse and rape victims are taken less seriously. Expectations to be physically strong. Men are more likely to be victims of non-sexually violent attacks. Where do you want to go from there?
The abuse thing.
The abuse stuff, yeah.
Desperate Housewives features a male rape.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it a male perpetrator or a female perpetrator?
Female.
Okay.
Which I thought was really interesting
that is interesting.
addressed.
There are a lot of male abuse and rape victims. Statistically, like, women are more likely to be victims.
This is a tricky thing to say or to talk. When we talk about victims and we talk about statistically men are less likely to get raped, that sentence is true.
Yeah.
But kind of boxes
think
the male victims in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think that's conscious, and that's not something that people want to do. But I think that might make it harder. But statistically speaking, they're less likely to listen to me.
Do you think that talking about rape and abuse, we should talk about male and female victims together, or we should separate them?
I think that you have the main conversation about victims, and then you have the conversations about what it means to be a female victim, what it means to be a male victim, and how we deal with that.
Because one of the things that really, really gets to me is when you're having a discussion about female victims of abuse and rape, like it's a specific conversation about that, and then people come along and be like, well, men get raped too, and it's the two in that sentence that really bothers me, because it's like, oh, hey, in this space we're talking about female victims. Like,
I completely agree, and that kind of adds to what I said about statistically speaking, like when you use things like two and like that, it's the semantics of how we talk about it. But when you sit there and go, but right now we're talking about female victims, we'll talk about men later, and then we don't really.
Okay,
and that's a problem. Not to just dismiss talking about female victims. That is so important. Like Christ, but there needs to be a conversation, and we need to find a way to make it so that it's clear to everyone, men, women, whatever you identify as, that we are talking about these issues without dismissing someone else's. When feminism is about equal rights and about bringing everyone to the same, when you talk about, why don't we talk about this for women, it does make some people go, you're right, why don't we talk about this for men either? And then you have a conflict. And it shouldn't be a conflict. It should be a, cool, you're talking about that now, it's so important we have that network, let's go set up one for men too. And they don't have to work against each other.
Exactly. So I have this question that's been like playing in my mind. Someone commented this on my video last week, which was about feminism. In the video I say that feminism benefits all genders. It helps men too. So like, men should want to be a part of it and should support it because they're going to benefit from it. The person said, why do we feel the need to kind of justify the feminist movement by saying that it helps men too? Like, yeah, it does, but shouldn't anyone want to help a movement, like, regardless if it helps them personally?
That's a really good point. I support gay rights. I'm not gay. I support...
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. I'm not black. Like, I think people should support positive, progressive human rights movements, regardless of how it directly affects them.
But I do feel like feminists constantly have to be like, hey men, it helps you too, in order to get them
And that's
on
a
board.
problem. That's not... I'm not going to sit here and try and justify that.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem. So for me, feminism is common sense. Like, I didn't call myself a feminist for a long time because I didn't understand what feminism was.
Right.
I held views that pertained to feminism. Like, yeah, women should be the same. I'm not a feminist. And then I learned what feminism was. I was like, I am a feminist.
I am, then.
That's fair. I heard someone say that you shouldn't have to tell a man, this could be your daughter, this could be your mother. They should just be able to...
why do we have to do that?
Because
to make
my
them
argument,
care?
you shouldn't have to.
Exactly.
And yet, you do, because as men, we don't go through what you go through. There's so many questions here that it's like such a difficult thing to unpack in a short video.
Yeah, but we're starting
the conversation
the conversation
needs to begin.
Yeah, me and Dan are both white. Dan is a white straight man, and so obviously, like, we've kind of been talking from his experience, from your personal experience, and what we don't know or haven't really addressed is the experience of gay men, black men, trans men, like, who have entirely different experiences of what it's like to be a man, and all of those things should also be talked about.
Or even straight white men who aren't as liberal and theatre as me. Like,
There are two charities that I know of that do good things for, like, male mental health, which is Movember, which is when, like, everyone grows moustaches in November, and they raise money for, like, men's health. I think it's, like, mental health, but also, like, prostate cancer and stuff. And then there's CALM, which stands for Campaign Against Living Miserably, or something. But they have a whole website and loads of great resources for, like, men's mental health.
Do you think they came up with a name and then decided what the acronym was afterwards?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they probably did. But it's a good cause.
If you know of any other great charities or events that talk about being a man and masculinity and all that stuff, like, leave them in the comments. Also, just leave your own thoughts in the comments, because we've scratched the surface here.
Oh my god, not even slightly scratched the surface. I feel like what is important, I think something important to take away is respect for each other's views. Listen to each other, try and understand each other, and engage in a conversation as positively as you can. These are difficult things to talk about, especially for people who aren't encouraged to talk about them for their whole life. Yeah.
Also, if you are a gay, black or trans man and you feel comfortable sharing your own experiences that are probably different to Dan's, then also share them in the comments as well.
It's so important to talk about those. Sharing your experiences are the only ways that we will know that these experiences exist, that we can work with you to try and address them and live in a happy utopia at some point.
Utopia.
When we're dead. Like, 20,000 years in the future, we'll all be happy with each other.
Oh, I can't wait.
Peace and love, harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. The dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Oh, sounds great. Thank you guys for watching. Like we said, leave your own thoughts in the comments. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And make sure you subscribe to Dan, because straight white men on YouTube need more subscribers.
We need all the help we can get, guys. Come on, support us.
Alright, thanks guys, bye.